I get. I guess so. Awesome. So one of the segues of the conversation that we had on Monday around how your value is not tied to your volume is around how do we create an experience in such a way that each transaction creates multiple opportunities in the future with people that already know, like, and trust us through referrals, right? And so one of the ways that we said to do that is, are you articulating your value proposition at a high enough level? And oftentimes, just by putting out there at the very beginning, saying, hey, my intention is to make this such a world class experience for you that you can't help but send everyone you know our way, actually forces you to elevate throughout the process. And so I would say about 10 years ago, I learned this system, this technique from a gentleman named Mike Hicks out of Idaho. And I believe he lived in a town of about 6,000 people. And they did north of 300 transactions every year in his town of 6,000. And the way that they did it was through this promise script that he had put together. And so I have it here for you, and I'll make sure I'm going to drop it in the chat so you guys can download it. And I truly, truly encourage you to incorporate this into all of your interactions when it's time to either take a listing or get a buyer agency agreement signed. And I'm going to share with you kind of some of the steps along the way and why this makes sense and is really, really, really good. So let me share screen if I'm able. Do, do, do. Awesome. Can you see my script? Here we go. We'll make it even a little bit bigger here for everybody. All right. So when I'm setting an appointment with somebody, as we're calling to confirm or we're setting the appointment, I'm just going to jump into it and say, Brad, will you role play with me? Will you be my person on this scenario? You'll be
Sure.
perfect. All right. So Brad, awesome. So we're confirmed for tomorrow at 5:30. I'm excited to be there. Now, listen, Brad, when we meet, I'm going to share with you my promise for all my clients. And it starts with how we provide the most amazing real estate experience you could ever imagine. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Great. So I'm going to share more with you about that when we meet. Is there anything, and then I go into, is there anything else you'd like for me to bring or any questions before we get together?
Yeah.
Cool.
No.
So I come in, um, and like when I'm doing a listing presentation, I've got a little bit of a process that I go through around the listing presentation. So, but this is once we're ready to sit down and get things going, I lead with this. So I'm like, all right, Brad, hey, first of all, I wanted to thank you so much for inviting me out here tonight. I know that there are thousands of real estate agents here in Kansas City, and I just wanted to tell you that I don't take for granted that I'm here. So thank you so much for having me out. Did you by chance have an opportunity to skim through the packet that I sent you over? And this is where, like, if you've got a two-part listing presentation, or if you've got a list of questions or prequal stuff or the disclosures or anything else in your listing, this is where you reference any of that. So, Brad, did you get a chance to take a look at anything that we sent over?
Yeah. I mean, I was pretty busy, but I checked out some of it, just breezed through it real quick.
Excellent. And we're going to cover everything in detail. And yet, the first thing that I'd like to go over before we get started is the promise.
Okay.
Cool. So, would it be okay
Lay
to
it on
share with
me.
you what the promise is?
Yeah, man. Lay it on me.
Okay. So to me, the promise means that I'm going to work like crazy to provide you and your family with the most amazing and incredible real estate experience you could ever imagine. That's going to be our goal. If I'm able to do that, I'd just like to ask two things from you. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, first, if we're able to do that, and I've done such an incredible job that at some point between today and closing, you'll likely have sent us a referral. So our goal is that our service is so awesome that you'll just feel compelled to tell your family, your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors all about me. That if They ever need a referral for, like, let's say, service providers, or they're possibly looking to refinance their home, or if they're looking to buy, sell, or build wealth through real estate, we'd love for you to send them our way. So it's my goal throughout this part of the transaction to absolutely earn the right to have you to do that. And I do intend to earn that. So that's the first goal. So if I'm able to fulfill this part of the promise for you, would you be comfortable sending people our way?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Second thing, we don't know how well we did without your valuable feedback. And so the way that we do that is through online reviews. So at the end of this transaction, I would love for you to leave us a review. So my question is, if we're able to fulfill the promise for you, would you write a review for me? It would absolutely mean the world, as the greatest gift that we can receive from anybody is a 5-star review. That's how we measure how we're doing, and that's how we share how great we are with the world. Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah. If you're good,
Awesome.
yeah, send me the link when we're done and I'll be happy to do it. If we can get
Listen,
the house. So,
it's all contingent on if we're able to do it, right? So the
well,
pressure's
yeah,
on
man,
me,
we got to
not on
close the
you,
deal.
right? The deal's a deal. Now, can
Yeah,
I share with you what the promise isn't?
sure.
Cool. So the promise isn't a promise that everything's just going to go completely perfectly smooth. There's not going to be any bumps along the way, right? Sometimes things happen, and sometimes they do happen. What I can promise you is that as your partner in this transaction, it's going to be our goal to know what's coming up ahead of time, or as it happens, show up with options and sit down and consult with you. So if any of those obstacles occur, we're going to sit down and help you navigate through all that. Does that sound fair enough?
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have any questions about this part?
No, I like that you're going to be my partner in it and
Yeah,
not
dude.
just my, you know,
Yeah,
I like
no.
the partnership part of it. So,
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, like, I don't pay your mortgage, right? Like, you're the one that pays the mortgage.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's share a little. So now I'm going to go into some of the things that we do to deliver that world class experience. You ready? All right. Blah, blah, blah. And now we go into the presentation. What did you hear about? What did you hear inside this first part of the promise?
I mean, you're already setting it up for success. Like, I'm going to be successful. We're going to do this. And in the end, like, you're already like, I am a successful person and I'm going to get this deal done for you.
How many of you
So,
are a little nervous having to put that out there? Like,
I,
just be honest. Like, how many? Ramir's like me. I don't actually want to be a world class agent. I don't. I don't. I don't want to promise that. I want to come in under the radar and under deliver if I need to.
No, it's more of just, we've talked about it a lot. Whatever you put out there, obviously you have to deliver on. And so if you don't, have that world-class service to deliver, or maybe you think you do, but it's not, it can be a little intimidating to come in with that.
I, I'm with you. There's a reason why I asked the question, because every time I say it out loud, I'm like, oh, right. What else?
I actually felt excited reading it, like, oh, I need a copy of this to give to my team. I think it's really good because it sets expectations in two different ways. You voiced that things aren't going to be perfect, right? We
Key
said that.
point.
Yep, yep. And you set the expectation that you're going to be asking for a referral and planted that seed in their mind so that it won't seem like it came out of nowhere or whatever. And you explain to them why you're going to be asking for the referral, right? Because you said you're going to provide such a service that they're going to want to provide you with the referrals.
Yeah, there's a key phrase in there that I want to make sure you guys hear is that we're going to do such a great job that you can't help but be compelled to share us with everyone you know. And that's an embedded command. That's in your linguistic programming where you're setting the intention and letting them look. We're really just teaching people how to treat us, right? Because a lot of times people are really excited. They love working with us. They're satisfied and they just think like, I just think this is really great. But we're saying if you think we're great, you won't you can't even stop telling everyone you know about us and then sending them our way, right? So that's one real key component to the process. The second part is the review, right? Priming them for the review and then priming them for a 5-star review. It's real key that you bring in the number one way that we know how well we're doing is with a 5-star review. 5-star review. Always. Don't just say, "Can you leave us a review?" Do you mind leaving us a 5-star review? You're just embedding that. There's some people that even if it was perfect, they'll never leave a 5-star because in their mind, like nothing's 5-star, nothing's perfect, nothing's 10 out of 10. A 9 or a 4-star for them is a 5-star, but a 4-star on Google, like it jacks you up. So you almost have to give them permission 5-star. If it's not and sometimes you can even add, listen, at this day and age on Google, if it's not a 5-star, it's a no star, right? Anything other than a 5-star feels like a 0. So if you feel like we did our end of the bargain, we would love a 5-star review if we've earned it.
When we had our Airbnb, that was the worst. We got a couple 4-star reviews and it wasn't because anything.
Love it. Everything was
Yeah.
perfect. Love it, love it, love it. 4-star.
I had to
What?
create these like magnets that I would put on the refrigerator that explained to them like a 5-star, what a 5-star was, what a 4-star was, to like really gear them towards the 5-star. Ooh, that was painful.
Yep. Well, but that's the thing. It's education, right? Keep this in mind. All frustration comes from unmet expectations. So when we say we're going to be delivering on the promise and creating a world-class experience, but then we also go into, well, what isn't part of the promise? What we're setting up is the environment of we can only control the controllables. There may be things that happen outside of our control, and that has nothing to do with us delivering a world-class experience. You might get an appraisal back that's bumpy. You may get an inspection report back that's lengthy. You may get non-communicative X, Y, and Z's, right? And is that a reflection of us? It's like going to a restaurant and your meal was prepared bad, and then you don't tip the server. The server's not cooking. Did the server provide world-class experience? And how does that work? Is the server looking at your meal, seeing your dissatisfaction, and not asking you if they can fix it? They just say, "Hey, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to be right back." Or if you do say, "You know what? I think this is a little overcooked." If they're like, "It doesn't look like that to me. Are you sure?" Like any kind of pushback against your feedback, think about it in a restaurant, is like, ew. As opposed to they go, "You know what? You're right. Let me take care of that immediately. Is there anything I can get you in the meantime? Let me get you some extra bread or whatever while you're waiting." Right. And then, "Hey, we put a coupon here, or we're going to put a dessert to go for you. I know that you guys are full and it's late, etc. Take it with you." Like that right there is like, wow, that's world class. I will be back for that. So it's not like that things aren't going to happen. It's how do you respond when things happen? And so we're just future pacing this part of the conversation and letting them know, hey, there are going to be things that feel bumpy outside of our control. Just know we're with you. We're your partner. Another key word, we're your partner in this. We're going to bring you, and then we're going to bring you options to go through it. Because just like farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. So you set the promise expectation, right? Statistics show that there are 5 key points in the transaction for you to check in on the promise. And this is important. There's 5 key points in the transaction, right? So the first one is the initial consultation, the getting together, talking about the promise, talking what is in the promise, etc. So setting the expectations is the first one. When's the next key part in most of the transactions?
The
You guys ever
offer?
done? What's that?
The offer?
Yeah, getting under contract. Getting under contract is another. Everyone's super excited. They're under contract, and it's a great opportunity at that point because their perception of the whole thing is high right now, is a great opportunity to check in and say, awesome, super excited for you guys. Hey, by the way, just checking in. How are we doing on our end of the promise? And that's it. Don't say anything else. How are we doing on our end of the promise? And then that gets them going, oh, yeah, this has been really good. Oh, referral. Like in their mind, you're triggering referral without saying referral because we're talking about the promise. Because the whole goal of the promise is if we do this job, you will feel compelled to send people our way. Yes. And so we program that at the very beginning. First checkpoint, offer. How are we doing on our end of the promise? Michelle, you look like you're ready to say something.
Yes, I was going to say I like this. So you said something previously when you gave the when you were talking about a server, right? And not questioning like it looks fine, whatever, right? So by asking that question too, how are we doing on our promise? It also opens up that opportunity for you to know if something is going wrong because it's really not about if we believe that we are providing that level of service. It's about how our clients are perceiving what we're giving them, right? Their perception of that value.
Yes, yes. Think about this. The way you remember the experience isn't whether or not there were challenges in the experience, is how was it left at the end. And see, oftentimes, I'm guilty of this too. When things get sideways, I get quiet. I almost want to like under communicate because I don't like, as opposed to really leaning in and going, okay, how do we fix this? How do we make this better? What would you like? What's a resolution? How can I support you? Right? Instead of really leaning in and trying to fix it, sometimes we get real quiet and go like, all right, well, no news is good news, I guess. Right? And then how many transactions and clients have we had where we just were like, again, we just made it. But what happens is, like you've got these post-close follow-up systems, but because in the back of your mind that transaction was kind of rocky and we never addressed it, how easy is it to call back that closing afterwards and go, how are things? And you're like, you don't want to, because then be like, well, honestly, do you really want to know? Blah, 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 which you could have potentially handled in the transaction. Right. So I'm an ostrich sometimes. We talked about this. It's like, I don't love conflict. I don't love having to take ownership if I made a mistake. I don't love that part. However, I'd rather have a chance to fix it instead of it being weird. Right. So that's it. So, part one, delivering the promise. Part two, the offer. What's the next opportunity where things are high? Through
Closing.
resolutions, through the option period. We're through the next milestone of, hey, congratulations, we got through inspections, we got this. The next thing is going to be appraisal is going to get ordered. We're scheduling out to closing. So next opportunity to check in. We're on da da da. Hey, just checking in. How are we doing so far on our end of the promise? What's the next opportunity?
Closing.
Yeah, closing. Ideally, if you did everything correctly and you were absolutely world class, at some point, the part of the conversation will have come up to where they're like, hey, we definitely have some people we want to connect you with, et cetera, et cetera. And then also the review, et cetera. And then what's the fifth opportunity?
Sometime after closing.
7 to 14 days after. What's every agent's MO when it comes to closings? Usually 99% of the agents out there, they go to closing, snap a picture with the big key, post on social, and ghost. Post and ghost. That's most agents. Post and ghost. And the people that you've now just been in contact and relationship with for the last 45 days, almost daily, no longer hear from you. And they go, Huh. I guess they got paid and then we're done. Like, what happened to our friend? We talk to him every day almost. Right? So 7 to 14 days post close, just checking in. How are things? How's the move in? Are you guys all done? How's the boxes? How's it feel? Does it feel like yours yet? Is there anything you need? And if they've already given a review, thank them. And then just again, you can just simply say, "How did we do for you?" Right? And I'm just or even at this point, you could even just say, "Boy, I'm really excited to be able to deliver the promise to anyone you know as well." I mean, there's like 4 or 5 different ways to ask for a referral without asking for a referral and yet talking about the referral. So this is how you can create an experience without experience.
Matt, can you put that promise script on either in the
Oh,
comments or in
yeah,
we can drop it on
here comes yo. Boom.
all right. I'll add that on the Facebook group too, in case y'all aren't quick enough to click and get it.
Boom. Questions, thoughts? I know we're right at time. This is a system.
Of a top producer.
Well, it's a system of someone who actually wants to provide value and not just talk about that they have value. Any other questions around this? Thoughts? Feelings? Audra's frozen. It looked like she was frozen. Brad, thanks for being a great role play partner.
I've
Yeah.
actually used
Thanks.
this. I've used this a lot, and I have yet to have someone not give me a referral whenever I have used this.
Mm-hmm.
So it works.
Yeah,
It
it's a lot cheaper than leads.
Mhm.
If you can and so here's the thing, right? And as you're growing and building out your teams and organizations, encouraging everyone in the group to be using this elevates everyone's efforts. Cool. All right. Well, that's your workshop Wednesday, yo. We'll see you guys on Friday. Have an amazing day.